Alright guys, so we got a lot to talk about in today's video, primarily about the balance changes that went live just this morning and why I believe these balance changes will completely change the meta of Clash Royale. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Alright guys, so as I said, balance changes went live this morning. 10 cards were balanced throughout the game, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at these 8 first, then I will discuss the last 2 later. So let's go ahead and just get right into it. We will start out right now with the heal spell. Now guys, this buff to the heal spell is completely game changing. Overall, the time of the heal spell, the duration, was decreased by 0.5 seconds, and the healing per second was decreased by 63%. But overall, the heal spell now costs 1 elixir, which is absolutely amazing in terms of cycle decks. I've already played, I think I've played 5 matches today already, and I've already played up against 2 Hog Rider heal cycle decks. And I'll tell you, I lost both of them because I gotta get adjusted to this new heal spell meta, because I'm telling you right now, heal spell is going to take over Clash Royale. You heard it here first guys, heal spell is going to take over the meta. Alright, another buff that the community had been asking for a very long time was of the Magic Archer. Now nothing was changed in terms of damage per second, hit points, but the hit speed was what we all wanted to see buffed. The first attack speed was decreased by 0.3 seconds because before it was absolutely atrocious, and it put this card at the very bottom in terms of usage rate and win rate, and now I think it will work its way back up to the top. It's not quite where it was before the nerf, but this is definitely a good start for the Magic Archer. Alright, so next up we have a card that again needed a buff for a very long time, and this is the Goblin Giant. The Goblin Giant, even though its buffs were very subtle, I think it is a good start in order to get this card more into the meta, so it can start replacing the Giant meta, and we can get a Goblin Giant meta maybe. I think that would be pretty cool, because I really do like this card. It's just not viable really. Alright, so overall the buffs that happened to the Goblin Giant were the hit points on the Goblin Giant were increased by 3%, which is pretty subtle, but again, it's a step in the right direction. And also the Spear Goblins on its back got an increase in range by, I believe, 0.5 tiles. So again, that is very good. Great start for the Goblin Giant. We're heading in the right direction, guys. Alright, next card. This card actually got a nerf. The Golem got a nerf. Now again, this nerf is very subtle. It really doesn't change anything. You shouldn't just stop playing Golem Beatdown because of this nerf. Golem Beatdown is still perfectly viable inside of Clash Royale, but basically what happened is the Golemite's death damage pushback was reduced by, I believe, 1/4 of a tile. Again, it's a very subtle nerf, nothing really to worry about for this one. Golem is still very viable inside of Clash Royale. Now next we have a card that again, I know a lot of pro players were complaining about this one, and this is the Freeze spell. It deserved a nerf, and it got the nerf it needed. Now it still will one-shot skeletons and bats when it freezes, but now the tower damage is reduced by 65%, so that way it is balanced with all the other spells. See, the area damage right here on my level 10 freeze is 110, and the crown damage is 39. Before this nerf, the area damage and the crown tower damage were the exact same. So this was a well-deserved nerf, although I still think that freeze will stay in the meta for a very, very long time. It's not getting out of there anytime soon, guys. Graveyard freeze, balloon freeze, bridge spam freeze, they are all still going to be very viable inside of the game. Alright, next up we have probably what I believe is the most underrated balance change of this wave of balance changes, and this is the Sparky. Sparky actually got an increase in range by 0.25 tiles. Now this may not sound like much, but this is absolutely crucial, because now if a player plays their Electro Wizard not directly on the Sparky, then the Sparky will actually kill the Electro Wizard before the Electro Wizard gets a chance to reset the Sparky. So that is very, very important for Sparky. I think we could see it come back in Giant Sparky or Goblin Giant Sparky, a little bit something new. But Sparky is definitely much more viable now. I still think a faster reload time would help it out a lot, but this, just like the Goblin Giant, is a step in the right direction for Sparky. I personally believe it is no longer useless inside of Ladder. Alright, next up we got a nerf. Another well-deserved nerf, and this is the Battle Ram. Bridge spam has completely taken over Clash Royale for the past 2 and 3 months, and Battle Ram is one of the key factors in the bridge spam meta. Alright, so the nerf that happened to the Battle Ram was the charge damage was reduced by 11%. Now again, this may not seem like a lot at first, and it really isn't that much, but in crucial situations, when you need a certain amount of damage, the Battle Ram may not get that anymore. So I believe that the bridge spam meta is on a very slow decline, but currently I just don't think this nerf is enough in order to make the bridge spam meta totally fall off. P.E.K.K.A bridge spam, still viable. 3 Musketeer bridge spam, still perfectly viable. Just bridge spam in general is still perfectly viable inside of the game. You guys go keep using your battle rams, and you know, you'll do fine. Alright, next up, this card got another nerf, the Barbarian Barrel. It was one of the worst cards in the game, then it got buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed. Now it's the best card in the game pretty much, and then it got nerfed, and it got nerfed again in this balance change. Now again, this nerf, it's very insignificant. Excuse me if I can speak. The deploy time on the Barbarian out of the barrel has been reduced, but this can still take out cards such as a Musketeer, an Electro Wizard, and a regular Wizard. So again, don't fret too much, guys. The Barbarian Barrel is still perfectly fine inside of Clash Royale. Alright, we got 2 more cards to cover that aren't in this little deck that I've made. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at them. So the first one here is the Valkyrie. Valkyrie got a very slight buff. It's an attempt to make it more viable inside of the game, but Valkyrie, it just can't compete really with cards that do splash like the Executioner and the Wizard, and now even Magic Archer is making its way back. So the Valkyrie, the hit speed was reduced by 0.1 seconds, so it's a very subtle buff. And it doesn't really change the overall aspects of the Valkyrie. It still cannot counter a Goblin Barrel with 1 swing. That is very unfortunate. But again, this is a step in the right direction for Valkyrie to put it back in the meta. I personally love the card. I loved it in Clash of Clans. I used to love it in Clash Royale. Down in the bottom of the arenas, Valkyrie is such a great card because people didn't know how to counter it. But just on the top of ladder, 4,000 trophies and up, Valkyrie just really isn't that viable because there's so many easy counters to it. Now the very last card that got changed in the balance changes was again another card that needed it for so long because it was so prominent in the meta, and this is the Barbarian Hut. Now the Barbarian Hut, again, a very subtle nerf. The health on the hut was reduced by 7%. Now this means that like really it's nothing too much. You'll still get the exact same waves of barbarians out of it, and any spells that you drop on the hut, it won't change the number of waves of barbarians that are summoned. For example, if you rocket a barbarian hut, they're still going to get 2 waves of barbarians out of the hut. So really, it doesn't change it that much overall. Well, guys, that was it for the balance changes in this month. Now, I've heard rumors that the next balance changes aren't going to be until March. I will do some more speculating on that, and if I can find enough information, then I will make a video on that. But just hear it from me, the next balance changes probably aren't going to come for a long time, but I definitely think that it doesn't need to, because I believe that these balance changes are completely game changing, and that they will absolutely take over the meta. We'll get a hog heal cycle meta. Magic Archer will be back in a lot of bridge spam decks. We could get our own Goblin Giant archetype maybe, kind of like the Golem has its own archetype. Sparky is slowly crawling its way back up. Freeze is still viable. So is Battle Ram and Barbarian Barrel. Valkyrie, it's still pretty much out of the meta. And Barbarian Hut, you guys don't need to worry about that either. It is still perfectly fine in this combination right here. So that's going to be it for this video today, guys. If you guys did end up enjoying the video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you are new here, be sure to hit that red subscribe button. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. That is the one New Year's resolution I have. So if you want to help me achieve my New Year's resolution, be sure to hit the red subscribe button. And also, I think you'll enjoy my content if you give it a chance. I upload weekly Clash Royale videos, speculating on future balance changes, updates that happen, and just some gameplay videos showcasing decks that are in the meta. Well, guys, this is SolarFury signing off. Peace out, guys.